To compare and contrast capability and access control, I'd like to take a little bit of a detour here and talk about the distinction between object-oriented programming and data type-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming, as in a language like Java, is written like this. You have some interfaces that describe a general category like shape and some operations that can be performed on that category, like getting its area or getting its perimeter. And then we create classes that implement that interface, providing the implementations of the methods. In a data type-oriented approach, we say that there is a particular category like shape, and these are, once and for all, the members of that category. And then separately, we can write different operations that operate on all instances of that category, like a function area that takes a shape and does something depending on whether it's a circle or a square. You can write the same sorts of programs in either of these styles. The advantage of the object-oriented style is if we have circles and squares and we want to add triangle, we can add that without changing any of our old code. We just create a new class triangle that implements the two methods, and we don't even have to recompile the other classes normally. For that same change on the data type-oriented side, if we want to add a new shape triangle, then we have to change shape in its declaration. And that means any function that takes a shape and does different things with it will also have to change. So adding a new variant in a data type-oriented program requires changing the program, where it doesn't in an object-oriented style. So far that makes object-oriented sound better, but the opposite problem happens if we want to add new operations. In a data type-oriented style, if we want to add a new operation here, like drawing a shape, then we don't have to change any of our old code, and we could just add a new drawing function. In the object-oriented style, if we really stick with the style, then a new operation corresponds to a new method in our general interface here, and we have to go implement that in all of our existing classes. Real programs use a combination of object-oriented style and data type-oriented style, depending in part on whether that part of the program is likely to need a new extension as a new variant or as a new operation. So what was the point of this aside? It's that capabilities and access control offer a similar sort of trade-off. With capabilities, when we want to add new kinds of users or services, we can add those, and the capability embeds what it is allowed to do. Whereas access control lets us add new kinds of resources, like files and databases, and say how those relate with existing capabilities, without changing the access control of other resources that already exist. And that's why it's easy to confuse capability and access control. They both do the same sorts of things, they're just tuned towards extension in different dimensions.